Good morning, Terrans. Here it is, Saturday, June 9th, here in Georgia. Nice, beautiful day. Oh, Bubba says hello. Yoo-hoo, Bub. Hey, Bub. Yoo-hoo. Oh, I guess he was ready for the squirrel, but you notice he looks different today. Say hi, Bub. Bub. Hi, Bub. There you go. Anyway, I wanted to do a video today on two things that I know you guys have been wondering for a long time, centuries, I think. Uh, but I'll give you information that I have. It's sketchy though, but I'll give it to you. Um, Concerning your system of soul here, and I'll call the video Planets 9 and 10 of your soul system. Uh, so, for further ado, if you look at your history, you got various peoples that'll probably tell you about um, in their so-called, as you call them here, mythology. But you got to remember that some mythology has basics in fact. In fact, most of it does, as far as we know. So I'll tell you what we know based on your texts, especially the Indian text, what they call Sanskrit, and the Mesopotamian Sumerians text. You can find it on the North American Indian stories here. The Chinese have some. And basically, some of my Federation planets, like Atusha, the insectoid planet, and Onia, which is a reptile planet, uh, but they're different than the Moshka. Uh, they both have stories from their past, Atusha and Onia, that say basically what the Sumerians and the Indian Sanscripts say here, that a long time ago there was 10 planets here. Pluto was considered a planetoid, even in those days. And so were all the objects on what you call the Kuiper belt. But anyway, this is going back, say, 200 million years ago. Uh, and the stories vary, okay? And we always thought that they were stories just like you do today, except when my Federation, after we left our ancestral planet, and unfortunately locked heads with the Mushka. Mushka thought we were Terrans, which we're not. And there's no evidence that, other than being cousins, like I say, uh, in Hawaii everybody's a cousin, but other than being cousins, we have no evidence of ever having a direct ancestor to you guys. But anyway, could be, could not, but that's a different story. But to finish the thing on the two planets, uh, when we engaged the Mushka, which are natives of this planet, which left about oh 70 million years ago, they left your planet because things were changing on your planet, either weather-wise or whatever it was. Anyway, it was being that they couldn't live on the planet no more. For some reason, either they used up all the resources or whatever it was. But then again, they had their brethren, which you call the dinosaurs, which were creatures, just like you have dogs and cats and big cats, predators. Well, they had them as animals over there, as they called them. Uh, and they got pretty upset when you mentioned that they came from them. It's like you guys say when somebody says you come from monkeys. Well, Mushka has a very touchy subject on that part. Anyway, the Mushkas that we talked to, that we uh, prisoners of war, more or less, and then we turned them back to the Mushka. Uh, they told stories of two planets that were here. And the way they described their solar system, and by the way, the Mushka 270 million years ago had a very detailed account of their solar system. And in their charts, they showed a planet that orbit the sun some 207 uh, million miles, and another planet that orbit the sun 313 million miles. And that still leaves a pretty good gap between the planet that orbit 313 million and 483 million for Jupiter. But you must admit that Jupiter must have had uh, an effect on those two planets, because they were, Mars is 141 million mean miles away according to your specifications, and the Mushka were right around the corner. I mean, you and the Mushka had about the same dimensions of your solar system. It's kind of uncanny. We always wondered that you guys took it from the Mushka. But anyway, uh, and these two planets were terrestrial. Uh, the planet that was 313 million was about 1.1 the size of Earth, and the planet that was 200 million away, it was 0.95 the size of Earth. And, they had terrestrial. One planet, according to the Bushka, if you translate it to your system, would have been 967 of your days, and the other one would have been around 1,500 of your days. But ironically, their rotation periods were about 23 hours, 46 minutes, and 24 hours and 10 minutes. If you take the Mushka calculation, that is. So here's what I'm saying, Terran. They both had humanoid type beings on the planet that was 313 million. The planet that was closer, they were bipedal, warm-blooded, but they were not humanoids. They were, the closest I can describe them is like our arboreal planet, which resembled our arboreal planet. It's a member of our federation, which means they were primates, about 5 feet tall, around there, but they lived in the trees, which the arboreals did, except that these arboreals on this planet had a highly developed civilization. And their civilizations were developed probably to the level of your Star Trek, uh, the Next Generation type technology, if you want to do an analogy. Anyway, they were a little behind us. I would say even today they would be considered 300 years behind our technology, and our technology is 1,500 years ahead of yours. So, yeah. So it was interesting that those two planets declared a war on each other for some reason. And around 100,000 years ago, well, they had a total war. What happened to the arboreal planet, nobody knows, but they know that descendants of the humanoid planet came to Earth. And this is why the Mushka hates you guys with a passion, because they say that you guys stole their home planet when they came back 70,000 years ago, because they consider this their home planet. So anyway, if you scientists want to look some more, look at the asteroid belt. There's too much debris in there for one planet. We looked at it, and we found interesting things, especially if you go to Cestus over there. I know I'm violating my directive, but hey, NASA seems to be spending money all over the place here, except where they need to. So don't you have a spacecraft around Cestus over there right now? And also check out Vesta. You need to check those two out. Anyway, uh, this is my thought for today, and see you later. Thanks.